This is hilarious, guys, because BlackRock just confirmed our idea of what the collapse happening to not only Bitcoin but every crypto out there. Our theory from 2020 was basically when Bitcoin collapses, the money will trickle and flow from Bitcoin to XRP, which would make this chart balloon and moon overnight. Okay, it's just gonna go crazy. That's our theory. But insight: BlackRock issues a rare warning about the quantum computing threat to Bitcoin in their latest iShares Bitcoin Trust filing. This just happened, guys, and this is BlackRock's warning. The person who's buying the entity that's gobbling up all the Bitcoin on the damn open market. Okay, they're issuing that, hey, maybe Bitcoin, there could be some serious issues in the future. So let's read. Other digital assets. However, if quantum computing technology is able to advance and significantly increase its capacity relative to the capacity of today's leading quantum computers, it could potentially undermine the viability of many of the cryptographic algorithms used across the world's information technology infrastructure, including the cryptographic algorithms used for digital assets like Bitcoin. Dun dun dun. So then, they say, if quantum computing is able to advance in that way, there is a risk that quantum computing could result in cryptography underlying the Bitcoin network becoming ineffective, which if realized, could compromise the security of the Bitcoin network, or allow a malicious actor to compromise the wallets holding Bitcoin owned by the trust or others on the Bitcoin network, which would result in losses to shareholders. There it is, guys, and there it is. So what could this mean? Well, some are suggesting that, hey, maybe in 10 to 20 years, this will be a real threat, okay, to cryptos. Not now, but this is a serious issue to actually look at this right now, guys, right before it's too late. Now, let's read on. So, quantum computing's potential to break Bitcoin's cryptographic systems, specifically SHA-256, which secure transactions and wallets against classical attacks but are vulnerable to quantum algorithms like Shor's, as noted in NIST's 2024 post-quantum cryptography standards. Now, Google's recent research, led by Craig Skiddy, shows that breaking RSA encryption, a similar cryptographic foundation, now requires fewer than 1 million qubits, a 20-fold reduction from prior estimates of 20 million, accelerating concerns about Bitcoin's long-term security as quantum hardware advances, with IBM targeting 100,000 qubits by 2033. And there it is. Bitcoin developers are now aware of the quantum threat and can implement quantum resistant cryptography through soft forks. So this is basically a battle against time, guys, right? People are suggesting like 10 years from now or something, but I feel like that's way too long, right? This work, it's getting less and less, right, throughout time. Now experts are saying maybe in like 10 to 20 years, guys, right? Timeline for such a threat. But the thing is, I told you guys this. They're right now, I promise this, I could bet my soul on it, but I'm not going to. Basically, they're propping up Bitcoin to go like this, okay, until one day it literally goes like that. Everyone must suffer, okay? Why do you think Bitcoin is promoted so heavily? Why isn't XRP promoted at all? Have you guys noticed that XRP is the most hated out there still to this date? When the argument is, hey, the reason why people hate XRP is because the banks are working with them, institutions. Guess what? Sorry to say, but you may be living under a rock. Bitcoin is working with the same entities that XRP is. But you love Bitcoin. For what purpose? It's going against them? No. They actually love Bitcoin to the point they're gobbling up as much as they can. So that's a little bit strange how XRP is flying under the radar, right, or something like this, but Bitcoin isn't. There's like a divergence happening, which tells me if something is too shiny, you may want to be wary of it, guys. What we stated, the longer time runs on, the risk will be to hold Bitcoin will becomes greater. That's just my thoughts. You don't have to follow what I'm saying, guys, at all. But this is where I believe XRP is surely the chosen one. Now, XRP has earned a strong appeal in traditional financial markets due to its widespread adoption by financial institutions and status as a pioneering American digital asset. People have asked, what about the XRP ledger? About quantum computing, guys? Well, positioning itself as a quantum-ready blockchain, XRP is proactively fortifying its infrastructure to safeguard against the disruptive impact of quantum computing as quantum technology progresses. There it is. XRP's early commitment to quantum resistance could provide a significant competitive advantage in the evolving financial sector. While XRP already excels in facilitating fast and scalable cross-border payments, the rise of quantum machines presents both potential risks and opportunities. But I do want to point out, David Schwartz talked about this once upon a time. Quantum computing has been 8 years away for more than 10 years now. If they live long enough, we will need to make at some point, cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP Ledger will need to address quantum resistance. There it is, guys. We will need to make Bitcoin, Ethereum, the XRP Ledger, and so on quantum proof. Okay, but we really don't want to do it too soon because the quantum proof hashing and signature algorithms available today are painful for blockchain applications. But again, it could become quantum proof, guys. I read this somewhere else on my side monitor, where basically the chief technology officer at D24 FinTech Group explained quantum computers possesses immense processing power, enabling them to solve complex mathematical problems exponentially faster than classical computers. And algorithms such as Shor's could potentially break the encryption methods used by current blockchain networks, including the XRP Ledger. Now, in response, Ripple's developers are enhancing the XRP Ledger with quantum resistance cryptography, incorporating post-quantum algorithms like hash band signatures and a few technical things, guys, to protect the transactions and wallets over time. Right, so they're already looking at this stuff, guys. So this is amazing stuff. Now, by adopting quantum resistance technology early, XRP positions itself as a potential security benchmark for the blockchain industry, which could attract financial institutions and governments looking for future-proof payment infrastructure. Right. Additionally, with quantum resistance security in place, XRP may become a preferred choice for CBDCs. They further noted that though quantum computing is still evolving, XRP's proactive approach could establish it as a leader in secure and scalable financial networks. So, I don't know, guys. What I do know is at least they are taking a look at this stuff, right? Where Bitcoin, not too sure what's going on there. What I do know is that the Tulip Mania comes into play, right? Basically, the tulip bubble was a period of intense speculation, price inflation for tulip bulbs in the Dutch Republic during the 17th century. It was what, guys? Intense speculation. What is crypto today? Literally the same exact thing. Intense speculation, right? There's a cheat sheet. This is the cheat sheet, guys, from Wall Street. Look at this, right? If we take Bitcoin's chart and lay it over like this, what happens? Let's just say that's 0, right? Negative, back to the average. The tulips basically went from starting price to hundreds, back to its starting price about. What I believe I believe the same thing will happen with Bitcoin, guys. That's just my belief, right? Everyone thinks differently, but that's just my idea and opinion on Bitcoin. For now, they're going to keep propping until literally everyone on board, known to mankind, is on board. Here comes David Schwartz literally now. He says, honest question, if XRP is decentralized, then why is Blackrock Warning the face of it and Ripple the issuer? I don't see the same arrangement with Bitcoin. Well, Garlinghouse is the CEO of Ripple, a company. XRP has no issuer. All the XRP that will ever exist was created when the XRP ledger was created. People keep talking about Satoshi and Bitcoin, guys. You actually want a known entity to hold a lot of the tokens, not an unknown entity, because that unknown entity, you don't know what their intention is. That's an issue. With a known entity, let's say Ripple, we know what's going on, guys, right? Actually, Satoshi could be a benefactor, could be a positive entity for Bitcoin, and he has been for a decade plus. He's holding a large sum of Bitcoin, which he hasn't sold onto the market, which then pushes prices higher, right? Because there are no selling pressure. But that will all flip overnight the moment he sells. That will be an issue. Now, as for thinking about whether the XRP ledger is decentralized, I would suggest thinking for a few minutes about why you care whether a ledger is decentralized, and ask yourself what you want to be assured will happen and what you want to be assured won't happen. Right? The XRPL is definitely decentralized, guys. If you look at the nodes. So there it is. Right there it is. This is the final tweet. Forbes. This person collapsed. Who's next? Michael Saylor, a Bitcoin maxi, a Bitcoin, literally the Bitcoin alchemist. And he's about to go soon. It's been foretold. This isn't financial advice. For now, they're going to keep propping up Bitcoin until literally every single organism is lured into Bitcoin, not financial advice. And there it is. But anyways, that's so for me. See ya.